But in Matthew 22, we have this, the greatest mitzvot, the greatest commandment. You know, he's being tested over and over again. They're coming up one at a time to question him. And, you know, he's so wise in his wisdom, and they all just get, you know, have to be quiet and walk away. But the Pharisees, verse 34, when they heard that Yeshua had silenced the Sadducees, I'm like, the Pharisees are like shaken in their boots at this moment, because how do you silence a Sadducee? I mean, that's the question they're asking themselves, right? Like, how do you silence the Sadducees? So they come up. They gather together in one place. I mean, they're shaking in their boots, y'all. They have to gather together in one place before they go and question the man, right? And then, testing him, one of them, a lawyer, asks, "Teacher, which is the greatest commandment in the Torah?" And he said to them, "You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your strength," right? Ve'ahavta l'recha kamocha. This is the first and greatest commandment. And the second is like this: love your neighbor as yourself. Ve'ahavta l'recha kamocha. See, I was ahead of myself. For the entire Torah and the prophets hang on these two commandments. The whole of everything in the Torah hang on these two commandments, right? And if that wasn't enough, we have a witness to this in Mark, so we can make sure that it was played out the way it played out. Mark gives us his witness of it in Mark chapter 12. One of the Torah scholars came and heard them debating, and seeing Yeshua had answered them well, he asked, "Which command is first of all?" And Yeshua answered, "The first is, Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. And you shall love Adonai with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind, and with all your strength." And he says, and the second is like this: you shall love your neighbor as yourself. There's no other command greater than these. Well said, teacher, the Torah scholar said to him, "You have spoken truth, that he is Echad, and beside him there is no other. And to love him with all the heart, and with all understanding, and with all strength, and to love your neighbor as oneself, is much more than all the burnt offerings and sacrifices." Pause for a second here. Who's doing the talking here? Right? In this instance, the teacher, or the person who is questioning Yeshua, recognizes how important what Yeshua had just said. And so he brings it back to him in his way of accepting the teaching that he had just received, or the wisdom that he had just received. And so it is the teacher in 33 who is bringing this back. Besides him, there's no other, and to love him with all your heart. And that last part, he says, it is much more than all the burnt offerings and the sacrifices. In other words, he recognized that what Yeshua had just said was so important that it was more than all the burnt offerings and all the sacrifices. I mean, Dr. Seif likes to say that Judaism, especially in this time frame, was like the butcher religion, right? They would bring all the animals to the temple and then take the blood and then take the meat, right? And the next one would come up with his offering, and they would take the blood and take the meat. And so the blood goes for the offering, and the meat and the fat, and it gets separated out, and there you go. So it's a butcher house ministry. You understand that, what I'm saying there, right? They would take the meat and do the thing with it. And so to say that what you just said is more important than the what's being done at the temple is very deep, y'all. It's very deep. And so we should really consider how important that is.